నమో నమః. అందరికీ నమస్కారములు. సర్వేభ్యో నమస్కారః. గురుభ్యో నమః. Today is another good day for all of us that we are going to have a very important lecture from Dr. CSR Prabhu garu. We will start the session with paying respects to our country by reciting Vande Mataram and Prarthana. Let us request Prakash garu to recite Vande Mataram, please.
सर्वेभ्यः नमस्कारः. श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. ओम श्री महागणाधिपतये नमः. वंदे मातरम वंदे मातरम सुजला सुफला मलयज शीतला सस्य श्यामला मातरम वंदे मातरम सुप्रज्योत्स्ना पुलकितयामिनीं पुल्लकुसुमितद्रुमदलशोभिनीं सुहासिनीं सुमधुरभाषिणीं सुखदां वरदां मातरं वन्दे मातरं वन्दे मातरं. ధన్యవాదాలు గురుగారు. ధన్యవాదాలండి అందరికి.
వందే మాతరం. ధన్యవాదములండి ప్రకాష్ గారు.
వందే మాతరం సార్.
వందే మాతరం. Now let us request Sharda garu to chant Prarthana, please.
Sarvebhyah namaskaraha. 1 minute meditation. Now 3 times Omkara Japam. Om. Om. Harihi Om. Om Gananam Tva Ganapatigam Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upavasravastavam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Ana Srurvannoti Bhisida Sadanam. Om Sri Mahaganadhipataye Namaha. Om Prano Devi Saraswati Vajebhirvajinevati Dhinamavitravatu. Om Sri Mahasaraswatyai Namaha. Gurureva Gati Gurumeva Bhaje Gurunaiva Sahasmi Namo Gurave. Na Guroh Paramam Shishurasmi Guroh Matirasmi Gurau Mam Pahi Guro. Jnananandamayan devam nirmalaspatikakrutim Adharam sarva vidyanam Hayagrivam upasmahe. Shruti smruti purananam alayam karunalayam Namami bhagavat pada shankaram lokashankaram Shankaram shankaracharyam keshavam badarayanam Sutra bhashya krutau vande bhagavantah punah punah Ishvaro gururatmeti murti bheda vibhagine Vyomavat vapta dehaya dakshina murtaye namaha. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrutyorma amrutangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Matrudevo Bhava Pitrudevo Bhava Acharya Devo Bhava Athiti Devo Bhava. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvi Navadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
ధన్యవాదములండి.
Namaskaram andi.
హరి ఓం.
Hari Om.
Now, briefly, I'll introduce CSR Prabhu Garu. Though all of you present in this forum, know him very well, as he is the course academic director of this course of certificate course on Sanatana Dharma, and is the chairman of Vishwa Yoga Vidyapeeth, Hyderabad. Dr. Chukula Srirama Prabhu Garu has held prestigious positions with Government of India and various institutions. He retired as Director General of National Informatics Center, NIC, the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India, and has worked in various capacities in corporate like TCS, CMC, TES Telco. Was also an international resource faculty for the programs of Asian Productivity Organization and represented India on the international panel at Venture 2004 held at Osaka, Japan. He taught and researched at the University of Central Florida, Orlando, and also had a brief stint as a consultant at NASA, Cape Canaveral. Dr. Prabhu was unanimously elected and served as chairman of CSI Hyderabad chapter. He obtained his master degree from IIT Mumbai, Bombay, after a bachelor degree from JNTU Hyderabad in 1976, and he has guided a large number of students, research projects at master's level, and has published several papers. So it is very, very brief introduction to CSR Prabhu Garu. So let us request CSR Prabhu Garu to start the webinar, please.
Okay. Can you all see me and hear me clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Om Yam Medham Devagana Pitarasyoupasate Taya Mamadya Medhaya Agne Medha Vinankuru. Friends, today we'll be delving into one of the critical topics of Indian civilization, and that is the Indus script, the Indus Valley civilization, its nature, origin, and its descent from the Saraswati Valley civilization, or together called Indus-Saraswati civilization. Now, for a long time, we have been having this dilemma or an enigma that on one side we have vast Sanskrit literature. Sanskrit is of two categories, the Vedic Sanskrit and the classical Sanskrit. Vedic and Laukic, two. So the literature in the Vedic Sanskrit is called Vedic literature, mostly the Vedas themselves. In addition, the Vedangas, Brahmanas and Upanishads all put together, 4 parts. Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, Upanishad is called Vedic literature. And outside that, that is, these 4 are called Shruti. And outside these 4 is called Smriti. Whether it is Bhagavad Gita or Manusmriti, or whether it is Shruti, Smriti, Purana, Itihasa, Dharmashastra. These are the 5 categories. So then we have Itihasa like Ramayana, of course, Kavyas like Ramayana, Itihasa like Mahabharata, Kavyas like Ramayana. And we also have the Puranas, 18 major Puranas, but they are in the classical post-Vedic Sanskrit. And then we have Dharmashastras, and we have many other hundreds and thousands of texts pertaining to a large number of subjects, including sciences, arts, literature, poetry, and so on and so forth. This is an endless ocean of knowledge. Now, what is very important to note is that archaeologically speaking, there was no evidence of any of this extensive literary contents. Of course, we have Ayodhya, we have Mathura, we have all these Puranic, Itihasic sites, but I'm talking of the Vedic and Vedangas and other. So there was a lot of vacuum. So people had only history, historiography, archaeology, excavations, and objects which came from excavations only up to a certain period of time, relatively recent, not anywhere comparable to the Rig Veda or Yajurveda and so on. Archaeologically, excavation-wise, there was a big gap. So that gap was being exploited by foreigners for giving all kinds of fake narratives and theories, like the Aryan invasion theory and so on, which have ruled the roost for a very long period. Even today, the textbooks contain the Aryan invasion theory. So now, archaeologically, there is what is called paleography, there is what is called epigraphy, and numismatics. Numismatics deals with coins, epigraphy deals with the inscriptions on rock edicts or copper plate, tamrapatra inscriptions. And paleography in general talks about the writing, the scriptology of the ancient. Paleo means ancient. So the entire effort in archaeology, historiography, epigraphy was limited to relatively recent periods. What has been taken as like Aihole Shasanam and some other Shasanam and so on and so forth, in Telugu or in Tamil or in Marathi or in so many other Shasanas or the orders delivered by various kings and emperors. Of course, in terms of the international inscriptions kind of thing, the Bogoskoy inscription in Turkey contains the invocation of Mitra and Varuna, the Devtas of Rig Veda, to bring a peace treaty between Hittite and Mitanni tribes of Turkey, who were evidently Vedic Aryans. And it turns out that their daughters became the queens of Egyptian Empire. So in India, we had only the last inscriptions we have is Ashokan edicts. When Ashoka started propagating Buddhism in India and in Sri Lanka, his daughter went to Sri Lanka. he has established certain edicts, inscriptions on rocks. There is a famous Junagadh inscription, and where he has given orders to the people to be kind to animals and so on and so forth. After he embraced the Buddhist ideology. Similarly, I went and saw both in Junagadh and as well as Udaygiri, that is Kalinga War. After the Kalinga War at Udaygiri in Orissa, he put an inscription. And that inscription was in Brahmi Lipi. And all other inscriptions were in Telugu or Tamil and Kannada and so on and so forth in other languages. But Ashokan period is a period where none of these scripts existed as such. Only Brahmi script existed. So it is well known that the existing scripts of Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam, or even Hindi, that is Devanagari, that is Hindi, Marathi, and Gujarati and Bengali, are distortions of Devanagari. All these scripts are nothing but the distortions of Brahmi script. So the Brahmi script was being used during Ashokan period, but subsequently it became evolved into all the Indian scripts. That is the Telugu script, Tamil script. If you take, say, Ka in Telugu, if you invert it, I mean, rather shift it 90 degrees, you will get Hindi Ka. So Ga is same in Telugu and Hindi. Ta is same. And in Gujarati, their horizontal line is removed for Devanagari. Devanagari script is used for Marathi, Hindi, Marwadi, and so many other languages. And distortions of the Devanagari as in Bengali, Gujarati, two extremes. So the point I am trying, first point to be noted is the modern Indian scripts are nothing but the degenerated distortions of the Brahmi script. That's number one. That is well known. If you go to Amravati Museum, there is a big board there. How all the Indian scripts today have evolved out of Brahmi script. They show it there. So if you go back in time, all these scripts did not exist. Only Brahmi script exists. And Brahmi script has been there ever since 500 BC. Ashoka is post 500 BC. And before that, what is there? Nobody knows. So, except excavations showed that the Indus script and the Indus seals existed before Brahmi. So, what was happening was the Indus Valley civilization was excavated by Martin Wheeler during British period in Mohenjo-daro and Harappa in Pakistan. And he declared that the Indus script is not readable, it is not decipherable. And he declared that these people were Dravidians. They indirectly got support from Dravida Kashakam DK, DMK, who appointed one Aska Parpola and one Airavatam Mahadevan, who gave a decipherment of the Indus script as Tamil. That way, these people wanted to show that Tamil is superior to Sanskrit. And Tamil is older than Vedas. Because they wanted to, they still do, show that the Vedas came after the Indus Valley civilization. So this was the situation in British time. So the Aryan invasion theory was proposed, saying that the Aryans, who were whites, who came from outside India, from Europe, they came and attacked Mohenjo-daro, Harappa kind of sites, where the people who stayed were Dravidians, according to this theory. And they killed them, and whosoever has been alive, survived, they ran away to Tamil Nadu. like that, the Dravidian Aryan invasion theory was proposed, and that will not be, that has been continued till today because of the so-called Mohenjo-daro, Harappa and Indus script inscriptions. And DK, DMK, all these people support it strongly even today. And it became a big issue, as if they are two different races, the Aryan race and Dravidian race. So there are a lot of debate on this, a lot of controversy and a lot of contradictions. But now finally what has happened is the Indus Valley civilization sites were discovered in more large numbers, not just two, Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, but across the border. These two are in Pakistan. If you just cross the border, the Rann of Kutch is there, at Gujarat area. There is a place called Dholavira. I went there. From Ahmedabad, it takes 4 or 5 hours. So in that Dholavira, 5000 BC period, there are advanced irrigation systems and drainage systems and houses and so on and so forth. An urban settlement of 5000 BC. That's about 7000 years from. So if you cross the border in Pakistan, we have Harappa, Mohenjo-daro goes back to 4200 BC. If you go further into Baluchistan, you will get Mehergarh, which is about 7000 BC. All these are called Indus sites, Indus Valley civilization sites. And down the country, the Indus Valley civilization sites were located even in other locations, like Kali Bangan. In Haryana, many of the Rakhi Gadi. And there were, please mute your mics. And a lot of Indus Valley civilization sites were located all the way to Tamil Nadu. Indus script was found on potsherds, even in Tamil Nadu, even in Bengal. So we are talking of a time period of 3000 BC, 4000 BC, 5000 BC, 6000 BC, 7000 BC. And some of the recent sites, about 700 sites have been located, which all have uniform roads, uniform weights and measures. Those weights and measures are kept in the Museum of Lothal. They are the original weights and measures of today's weights and measures we have today. And the wall construction brick layout is the original source of modern wall construction brick layout. And the Lothal dock is the original dock, which is for the ships docking coming from other countries. Lothal is near Ahmedabad. And so the latest, few years ago, they located what is called Birana and Banavadi, two locations. I went there via Rakhi Gadi in Haryana. So Rakhi Gadi is dated as 5000 BC. And Birana, Banavali are dated to 7000 and 8000 BC. I went there and brought some objects. They have houses and walls and roads and underground drainage and that kind of thing, as usual in all the Indus Valley civilization sites. So there was a fraudulent theory that all they were Dravidians and they were attacked by the Aryans, and the Dravidians ran away to south and all Tamilians are Dravidians, like that. This theory is still there. A lot of people accept even today, is there in the textbooks. Because the Indus script was not deciphered, it was being interpreted as Tamil. So during the course of the entire British period and post-British, the independence 75 years, a lot of other excavations were done and a lot of other research interpretations were done. And S.R. Rao, the head of the Archaeological Survey of India in his period, in 80s and 90s, and who excavated the Dwarka from undersea and showed that Dwarka actually existed, which is submerged, as explained in the Harivamsa and other Puranas. I also went to Dwarka, I went underwater and got some objects. So this post-independence, unbiased, non-British motivated research showed something totally different from what was believed before that. S.R. Rao, he visited my house and had lunch with me. He came to give a lecture in the Birla Planetarium. So he wrote many books. The Dawn and Devolution of Indus Civilization, you can see those books. So he assigned the phonetic values of Brahmi script to the Indus seals, Indus inscriptions. And therefore he could read meaningful words and phrases which are of Vedic Sanskrit origin, like apa, bhaga, pa, and so on. So he declared, therefore, that the Indus script is Sanskrit. So his approach was to assign the same sound value given in the Brahmi to the same or similar looking symbol. For example, inverted V is Ga. It is Ga in Brahmi. It is there in Indus also. He read it as Ga. Similarly, circle and dot is Ta. It is there in Brahmi. It is there in Indus. It is there even today in all Indian languages. So is Ga is there. Similarly, many other symbols are there. The phonetic values. By the way, you all must be knowing that the world has basically two types of language families, organic and inorganic, or also known as phonetic and non-phonetic, or phonetic and pictorial, or phonetic and logographic. So logographic or pictorial languages are Chinese and Japanese and Korean. Chinese is the origin. In Chinese, there are 6,000 characters, alphabets. Each alphabet is an object or a diagram or a picture of a object which it is representing. Like man will be written like man, monkey will be written like monkey, like that. That's a different language approach. Mandarin and Szechuan, two branches are there. Now coming to the phonetic language family, there are three language families in the world. The Indo-European language family, which comprises of Sanskrit, Greek, Latin, Germanic family, Russian and French and so on, finally English. That entire tree of the Indo-European language family is on one side. The second is the Dravidian, they call it Dravidian family. Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, Gondi in Gond and Brahui in Balochistan, Elamite in Iran, southern Iran. All these are Dravidian languages. They have same words. So Telugu, Desha, Padas, Telugu has three words, Tatsama, Tadbhava and Desha. Tatsama is same as Sanskrit, Tadbhava is born out of Sanskrit. Desha is nothing but Tamil word. So Edru, Erpatu, Mukku, Kannu, Rendu, Modu, all these are Tamil words, which are Telugu words also, and Kannada words also, and Malayalam words also. Gondi, Brahi, Elamite, all same words. So the three language families exist in the whole world. And the Indus script is the oldest script. And S.R. Rao showed that the Indus script is Sanskrit. Now, others showed something else. Some people said it is pictorial. Some people said it is metallurgy. Some people said it is some business. All kinds of interpretations are there. Kalyanaraman gave his own interpretation. Another Kalyanaraman gave his own. All kinds of people are giving all kinds of interpretations to the Indus script. Only we have not given any, from VSS, we have not given any or VYV, any interpretation to Indus script, but everybody else gave all kinds of interpretations. So it became a very big contentious issue, if not controversial and debatable issue until today. Until Yajnadevara, whose video I have shared with you, who is based in US, is a programmer, he is a cryptologist. He proved that Indus script is nothing but Sanskrit, that too Vedic Sanskrit. He proved it by mathematical, cryptographic, and other methodologies. He has explained how he proved it in his paper. There's a 100 pages paper, and his videos, now news interviews, how he proved it, he has explained. Basically, what he has done is he has used cryptographic techniques. Cryptography is a subject where you decipher some unknown secret code, that there will be some secret code nobody knows. Some spies are using. A cryptographer can decipher what it is, break the code. So if you take the Indus script as a code, cryptographic code, then he broke the code and he proved it is valid by assuming Sanskrit. Because only for Sanskrit, the Indus script statements make meaning and sense. In all other languages, he tested one by one. Tamil, Japanese, various theories which are given. In all the cases, those Indus seals sounds, if you use those languages, are not making any sense because they don't exist in the dictionaries of those languages. Only for Sanskrit, those words or phrases in the Indus seals have been located to exist in the Sanskrit dictionary. So he has explained all that. I don't want to go into the detailed, in-depth analysis of how he has proved it. But on the whole, he proved that it is Sanskrit. And that is a very, very, very and most important turning point in the last 2 centuries or 3 centuries. The controversy of the Indus script being Tamil or Sanskrit or Japanese or pictorial or something or metallurgical, whatever, the whole thing comes to a rest with that provable methodology which he has used and establishing that it is Sanskrit. So once it is established in Sanskrit, he is able to read all the Indus script inscriptions which are turning out to be Vedic extracts. Not only extracts of the text from the Vedas, but also the meter. Various Vedic meters he could identify in those inscriptions in the Indus Valley sites. All these sites, 700 sites, out of which major are Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, Kalibangan, Lothal, Dholavira, and so on and so forth. And of course, Rakhigarhi and Virana, Banavali and Mehergarh and so on. So that is a very, very, very the most important development which I wanted to share with you. And what are its implications? So firstly, the implication is vertical integration. Vertical integration in the sense the Indus script has all the characteristics of Brahmi script plus some other characteristics which shows that the Brahmi script is a child of Indus script, or the Indus script is a parent of Brahmi script. Because same sound values are there in both and some more things are there. So it has been proven by his research that the Brahmi script is a child of Indus script. And even S.R. Rao proved it in his own way with a limited scale. He didn't use cryptography or mathematical proof and all those things. In his own way, he showed that the Indus script came out of Brahmi script. I'm sorry, the Brahmi script came out of Indus script around 5th century BC. And he also proved that as early as 1900 BC, because Indus script is going back to 4000, 5000, 6000, 7000 BC. As early or as late as 1900 BC, a script called Kharoshti came out of Indus script way before the Brahmi script came. In India, the Indus script continued to become Brahmi as late as 5th century BC. Whereas outside India, in Bahrain and other, which is neighboring countries, the same Indus script was the parent, out of which a script called Kharoshti script was born. And Kharoshti script is the mother of Arabic and Hebrew, and therefore Urdu also, and Persian also. So what we see in Urdu or Persian and Arabic, those strokes, they have come up from Kharoshti script. And that Kharoshti script is proven to be derived out of the Indus script as early as 1900 BC. So there is a horizontal integration and vertical integration. Horizontal because the Middle Eastern languages, Hebrew and Arabic, are the oldest, out of which all other things came. Even Bible was written in Hebrew and Arabic later. So they are traceable to the Indus script and Indus Valley civilization in descendants. That is, the same symbols are slightly modified here and there and turned into Arabic script and Hebrew script. And that is the horizontal integration. Vertical integration is down the line. The Brahmi script became Tamil, Telugu, all scripts, Devanagari, and all the Indian languages, literatures is integratable with the Brahmi script from bottom up and Brahmi with Indus. So the Indus is the parent of Brahmi, Brahmi is the parent of modern Indian scripts. So why are we talking of scripts? Because script is connected with language. It's not same as language, but it is closely connected with language. So the origin of script is showing the origin of the language. And the origin of the language indicates the origin of literature and therefore culture and therefore civilization. So we have to prove, we have to accept that entire Indian civilization is originating from the Indus script and Indus Valley civilization. All these sites are on the Indus Valley, the Indus tributaries, they are all there. So what is vertical integration? Of course, talking of Europeans, the Greek Latin is their parent of all the European languages, and everybody knows Greek and Latin are so close to Sanskrit. Latin is more or less same as Sanskrit. They are descendants of Sanskrit, much later compared to the Indus script. So the world language families, phonetic language family, the Indo-European, Dravidian, and Semitic or Middle Eastern languages have been shown to have their origin in the Indus script. Now, how Dravidian? Because people say Tamil is different like that. It is not exactly so, because in the early phase of Indus script in Harappa, the language features were very much same as Tamil languages, like Mahapranas non-existing and Ha not existing. I myself made a presentation to S.R. Rao in Birla Planetarium, where I showed from his own book the fact that the early phase, 2500, 3000 BC, the Indus script did not have Mahapranas and did not have Ha, which are exactly the Tamil characteristics. And later phase, it acquired Mahapranas and Ha. So I made a proposition that people who migrated from the mainland at that point of time to South India, to Madhya Pradesh, to Balochistan, to Iran, they carried the language as it prevailed when they migrated. So it became fossilized in their destination location and it evolved independently. This happens very commonly. I'll give you a simple example. If you take Bangaloreans who speak Telugu as mother tongue, you talk to them in Telugu, you cannot understand what they're talking. They can understand what they're talking. Because their Telugu is not modern Andhra, Telangana Telugu. It is 400, 500, 600 years old. Krishnadevaraya time Telugu. Because it got fossilized due to the surroundings being Kannada. And it became fossilized and then it may evolve in its own way. So same thing happened with the old Indus script, Indus language, which became the Dravidian languages. I showed with evidence this fact, and they all agreed finally. Even S.R. himself agreed to it. And as regards the some of the words in Tamil coming into Sanskrit, so like Vak, Vacha, Vani, all mean speech. We ask a question to etymologists, where top scholars in Sanskrit, why it should mean speech. Show me the Vyutpatti etymology, they cannot show. The only way you can show is in Tamil, because Tamil Va means mouth. Why? Noru, Vailin, Jantu. Telugu also we have that why. And same thing became voice in Latin. So mouth is the origin of speech. So similarly, one or two such words are there, like appa. Appa means father, but that word is not there in Sanskrit. But we have apatyam, which means father-son dynasty. So there are a few words which are there in Tamil. And in fact, the Rig Veda contains good number of Tamil words, which is Tamil is the oldest Prakrit. So all the oldest language either Prakrit or Sanskrit. Nothing else can exist. So later Prakrits, of course, they are very recent, but I will talk about the oldest Prakrit, that is Tamil. That's why Tamil words exist even in the Rig Veda. So that is an integration of Tamil and Sanskrit. with evidence, which I presented not only from the Indus script, phase 1, early Indus script, having Mahapranas, no Mahapranas, and having characteristics like Tamil, and people have migrated. But even some words can be shown to originate from Tamil into Sanskrit. Of course, from Sanskrit to Tamil, there are thousands and thousands of words. There are Tatsamas and Tadbhavas that we know. But even Deshas, they are connectable into Sanskrit. And many of the Tamil words entered even English, like rice, arisi, rice. Arisi in Tamil is rice. And Unnu is called one, O-N-E, one. So this integration approach which I took between Tamil, Sanskrit, through the Indus script was approved, appreciated by S.R. Rao himself in a conference at Birla Planetarium way back in the 90s. Now coming back to the Indus script and its upward compatibility with higher levels of time. Now, if you look at the Indus Valley civilization sites, they're all on the banks of the Indus River tributaries. The word Punjab, Pancha Apa, 5 rivers. Jhelum, Chenab, Satluj, Ravi, Bias, all these are the 5 rivers in Punjab even today. They are the tributaries of Sindhu Nadi, that is Indus, which is there in Pakistan. Now, the Indus Valley's civilization sites, spots, which are all mentioned below, they exist in various spots in Haryana, Punjab, even in Baluchistan, and even in Pakistan, of course. So they are all on the Indus tributaries banks. That's why it is called Indus Valley civilization, going back to 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 BC. What was there before that? That was a big question mark. So that was an enigma. And another enigma is the lack of connectivity of the Veda with the Indus script and Indus Valley civilization previously, until now. Now that Yajnadevara has proved that it is Vedic Sanskrit, he showed the extracts from Rigveda in the Indus inscriptions. And he also showed the meters, chandas, in the Indus inscription, which is very crucial evidence that it is post-Vedic and it is Indian Sanskritic Vedic civilization. The entire Indus Valley civilization of 700 sites, which was considered as Dravidian or unknown and no way connected with Indian culture and civilization. That was the picture before. But with S.R. Rao proposing something and Yajnadevara proving it with encryption and mathematics, which now establishes that the Indus Valley civilization is post-Vedic and it is therefore Hindu and Vedic, and it has the extracts of the Rigveda directly. And the references to Shiva are there. You can see in that presentation and paper. And the extracts from Rigveda referring to Shiva are quoted in the Indus inscriptions. And Pashupati's seal is also well known, with Shiva in Siddhasana having all the animals around him. And we have this temple in Nepal, Pashupatinath. And the yoga asanas postures, apart from Siddhasana, actual total posture in terracotta has been located in some of the Indus Valley sites. Now, this is good news for all of us, for India, for the world. The vertical integration and the horizontal integration as a global origin of script, language, and culture and civilization as the Indus Valley civilization. So when you go back to a period before the Indus Valley's spots themselves are showing around 8,000 BC and so on. What about before that? What is the literary reference we find in the Rigveda? The river Saraswati being referred. Of course, the river Indus was also developed, referred. There is a chapter on Ganga, Yamuna, and so on. But Saraswati was called Sindhu Mata, the origin of Indus. So it is now recognized that Saraswati river was the original source of the Indus, and the waters of Indus, and Indus may be almost like a tributary of Saraswati. Sapta Sindhu, Sindhu Mata, Saraswati. So Saraswati was referred in a big way in the Rig Veda. There is a whole chapter on Saraswati called Saraswati Suktam. I will read out now for you. The Saraswati Suktam exists in the Rig Veda, and of course it also exists in Chandi later. Now in the Rig Veda, the Saraswati Suktam which is given, Iyamadadadrabhava mrunamachyutam divoda samvradhyatvaya dasushe Yashaswantam machakhatavasampanim tate datrani tavisha Saraswati Iyam sushmebhit sakhai varujat sanugirinam tavishe Paravatagnim bhavase suvruktibihi Saraswati ma vivase madhitibihi. So Saraswati was interpreted in three different ways. One is the river, the other is goddess, and the other is mother. Ambi tame, greatest mother. Nadi tame, greatest river. Devi tame, Saraswati. These statements are made by rishis like Vasishtha, Viswamitra, and Bharadwaja, and so on, in different parts of Rigveda, in different locations, by different rishis. That means it has existed for a long time. And Nadi Tame, biggest of all rivers. And Pavaka, purifying, like Ganga we say is purifying. Before that, Saraswati was purifying. Ganga may not have existed at a point of time. Saraswati Devanido Nibarhaya Prajam Vishwasya Brasayasya Mayina Utikshitibhyo Vaniravindo Vishamebhyo Asravo Vajinivati Prano Devi Saraswati. We have chanted this today in our prayer. Vajebhir Vajinivati Dina Mivitrayavatu Yastva Devi Saraswati Upabrute Dhane Hite Indram Navritraturye Tvam Devi Saraswatyava Vajeshu Vajini Rada Pushe Panahsanim Utasyanas Saraswati Ghora Hiranyavartanihi Vrutragni Vashti Sushtutim. Saraswati is described as someone who has destroyed Vrutra. Of course, Indra also destroyed Vrutra. Yasya ananto ahrutastu eshascha rishnurarnava amascharati roruvat sano vishva atidvishasvasruranya ritavari atannaheva suryaha utanaha priya priyasu saptasvasa sujushta saraswati stomyabhut Apaprushe Pardhivani Ururujo Antariksham Nidaswatu Trichadhastha. 3 levels. Saptadhatuhu Panchajata Vardhayanti Vaje Vaje Havyabhu Devim Vacham Ajanayanta Deva Tam Vishwarupa Pashavo Vadanti Sano Mandresha Murja Duhavadhaneshu Nagasma Svapapashtutaitu Chatvari Vak Parimita Padani Tani Vidur Brahmana Ye Manishinaha Guhatrini Nihita Nengayanti turiyam vacho manushya vadanti. Now I'll explain this. 4 levels of speech. Speech is Vak. Vak is Vagdevi Saraswati. And Devim Vacham Ajanayanta Devaha Tam Vishwarupa Pashavo Vadanti Sano Mandrena Murdhadvanadesh Agasmaso Pashte Chatvari Vak Parimita Padani. There are 4 levels of speech: Para, Pashyanti, Madhyama, Vaikhari. We know from later literature. So out of which 3 are beyond humans. Tani vidur brahmana ye manishinaha. Great brahmanas, jnanis know those 4. Guhyatrini, 3 are secret, they are not visible. Dihita vengayanti, they are hidden. Turiyam vacho manushya vadanti. Vaikhari is the 4th one which humans speak. So before Vaikhari comes out is what is called Madhyama. And before Madhyama is Pashyanti, visualization. And before visualization is Para, Paravak, Parashakti, Adi Parashakti. Udattva Pasyanna Dadarshawacham Utattva Srunvan Srunoti Eva Uto Tasmai Tasvam Visasre Jayeva Patyu Ushati Suvasa Ambitame, greatest mother, Naditame, Devitame, Saraswati, Aprashasta, Ivashmasi Prashastim, Ambasaskrudhi, Pavakan Saraswati, Vajebhir Vajinivati, Yajajnam Vashtudhiya Vasuhu, Ano Divo Bruhata, Parvatada Saraswati. It has come out breaking the big mountains of Himalayas. Yajatagantu yajnam havam devi jujushana ghrutachi shagmano vachamushati srunotu. So this is Saraswati Suktam. In addition, we have the quotations by Vasishtha and Bharadwaja about Saraswati. Many quotations exist. I can quote a few of them. Some of them I have already quoted, but some more are there. I will try to put some more. That Vasishtha was very familiar with the fact that it originated in the Himalayas and merged into the ocean. Because Samudrat, he has mentioned that clearly. So there are many quotations explaining Saraswati in the Rig Veda. So that shows that Pravachamindra Induripyati Samudrasyadhi Vishtadi Jinvan Kosham Madhustutam. I will try to read out a few extracts from the interpretations of Saraswati River in the so before that, the parallel interpretation of a flow of thought process, how thought originates. Vak is sound, which is originating from mind thought, is a wave emerging from consciousness, from pure self, and assuming the form of sound due to friction generated by the vibration. It is a wave originating from consciousness and assuming the form of sound due to friction generated by the vibration. The vibration in its turn is caused by the principle of delight underlying the consciousness, both in the state of acceleration and impediment. In other words, when the principle of delight, ananda, implicit in the consciousness gets accelerated or impeded, it generates some sort of vibration, which on getting some sort of friction at point gets transformed into sound, voice or word, and comes to be given the generic name Vak. So there are many mantras like Pravi Vipadvacha Urmina Sindhur Girih Somah Pavamani Manisha Antah Pashyan Srujanemanaranya Tishtati Vrishabho Voyujanan. So a dualism between the river flowing with water and thought coming out of Suddha Chaitanyam, consciousness. Gauri Nirmaya Salilani Takshatyekapadi Dvipadi Sa Chatushpadi Ashtapadi Navapadi Babhuvarshi Sahasrakshara Parame Vyoman Tasya Samudradhi Viksharanti Tena Jivanti Pradishuschatayasah Tattah Shuratyuksharam cha Aksharam cha Vishwamupa Jivati Rigveda 1.164, 41, 42. Tasya Samudradhivishaksharanti Varshanti Megha. Then Yaska Nirukta Tena Jivanti Digasrayani Bhutani Tatak Tarati Aksharam Udakam. So the rain process is also explained. Rucho Akshare Parame Vyoman Yasmin Deva Adivigne Nishedu Yastannavedu Kimrucha Karishyati Tadvidastu Dhume Samasate. So, how the thought originates from pure consciousness, how the mantras originate, has the real essence of the mantras, which is said to lie in the highest heaven, along with all the gods dwelling there together, as also to the imperative that one who does not understand this secret cannot derive anything worthwhile out of the mantras, while one who understands it properly gets his position reserved amongst the gods. So we all chant Veda without understanding even one word. Not only we, most of the Vedic Pandits, let me tell you, sad story. They chant the Veda very correctly, accurately, without understanding even one word. And plain Sanskrit knowledge is not adequate. This is something very highly spiritual and philosophical. So there are many, many mantras which are describing both the Vak and the river Saraswati. Now I'll read out a few extracts from a very interesting book, The Vedic Symbolism. So Saraswati is a prominent symbolic form given to Vak in the Vedas, and as such she permeates the entire cultural milieu of India as the goddess of learning. It is but legitimate that what was conceived as a symbol of Vak originally evolved into the goddess of learning eventually. Since language has played the most vital role in the acquisition of learning by mankind. But what is peculiar is that Saraswati in the Veda occurs not only as a symbol of Vak, but also as a river, and that also not as any feeble river, but one as the highest, mightiest rivers of the then India, no less mightier than Sindhu itself. Saraswati, according to the Rigvedic account, emerges from the mountains and merges into the sea. Her emergence from the mountain is by no means peaceful. She is said to break the mountainous ranges. I went there to Adi Badri. Actually, there are cracks in mountains out of which the water emanates. And it is saltish water. I have drunk that water. and that water becomes Saraswati river. It breaks the mountains. She does on both the sides equally. Normally, one river will break the mountains on one side, but Saraswati broke on both sides. Iyam sushme bhir visarava ivarjat sanugirinam tavishemi bhirurmibhi paravataghnim suvrittibhi saraswati ma vyasamasdhitibhi एकाचेत सरस्वती नदीनां शुचिर्यति गिरिभ्यः आसमुद्रवत् सरस्वती सिन्धुभिः पिन्तमाना. So it gets water from other rivers and it generates waters into other tributaries rivers. And Vasishtha is the Rishi for these statements. So the Vedic seers' account of Saraswati as such shows that she was acquainted with the course of the river deep in the Himalayas as well. This gets confirmed by Vasishtha's account of her as a mighty river flowing clear water from the mountains to the sea. Just now I chanted, Eka chetat Saraswati nadinam shuchiryati giribhya asamudrat. This is by Vasishtha. Use of the plural form of giribhya by the seer bears out his actual acquaintance with the Himalayan ranges. So may also be said that his familiarity with the sea. Also, where are Himalayas and where is sea? Sea is in Gujarat. Himalayas are in Adibadri. Without such familiarity, it was difficult to account for his description of the river as falling into the sea. That means it passed through Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan, Gujarat, and finally merged into the ocean. Besides Vasishtha, there are other rishis who show their familiarity with this river, at least in her flow at the intermediate stage where many rivers formed confluence with her. See Rijiswan, for instance, observes how the river Saraswati was getting swelled by her tributaries, Saraswati, Sindhuvihi, Pinvamana, and Atri happens to name two of such tributaries as at least co-rivers. Saraswati, Brihadivota, Raka. There is one Brihadivota and there is one Raka. Brihadiva and Raka are the co-rivers mentioned by Atri. Vasishtha elsewhere enumerates her as the seventh one, characterizing her at the same time as the Sindhu Mata, mother of streams, mother of Sindhu. Sindhu can mean Sindhu river or water streams in general. Saraswati Saptadhi Sindhu Mata, Vasishtha says. And what are the other 6 rivers referred to by the Vasishtha Rishi besides Saraswati are? For that, Sindhu, Vitasta, Asikini, Parusini, Vipasa, and Shatudri. Panchanadya Saraswati Mapivanti Sasrotasaha Saraswati tu Panchadha So Desho Abhat Sarit. So you can see that the river description or mother of rivers may be taken to reflect the actuality in twofold manner. One case, it may be supposed to refer to the situation where the river got bifurcated into several streams due to either too much expansion, particularly while passing through the present-day Rajasthan, which became desert after Saraswati dried up. And it is there underground. I have been to Jaisalmer, underground, the desert, Saraswati is there. The Sangama spots are there where people take bath, even in desert Jaisalmer, by pulling out the water from underground. Underground paleo channels of Saraswati has been confirmed repeatedly by the Landsat imagery of American satellites and also remote sensing satellite of Indian satellites. So confirmed that it is there underground. It is visible only in 1 or 2 places. It is visible in Mana village after Badrinath, the last village of India. We can see for a few, maybe 4 yards or 3 yards, Saraswati is gushing. Even now I recall the freshness of the water particles coming out of Tumpara, out of that Saraswati, and then it disappears. And Bhima put a stone to cross it for the Pandavas. And it is also appearing at the origin in Adibadri as some kind of leakage of the cracks from the mountains. And then it appears as a small pond and disappears. And here and there it appears and disappears. It is said there is a curse that in Kali Yuga, Saraswati will be invisible. If you go to Triveni Sangamam, you can only see Dviveni, two clear colors of Ganga and Yamuna. But where is Saraswati? It is underground. It is very much there underground. It has been confirmed with satellite imagery of groundwater paleo channels. The land being plain and sandy, it was quite possible that the big volume of water of the river expanded far and wide and in course of time took the form of separate streams and merged as such in the Arabian Sea. In this regard, it is significant to note that the archaeological excavations and land site imagery conducted during the last 5 decades have revealed the bed of dry river in the same area the Saraswati is supposed to have flowed along in Rajasthan desert. This bed ranges from 3 to 10 kilometers in width. That means at one point of time, Saraswati was 10 kilometers in width, not length. The length is hundreds of kilometers. That's why it is called Nadi Tame, that is the biggest river. The bed ranges 10. It has been observed in this connection that there is a region known as Panchabhadra near Barmer in Rajasthan. 5 rivers, namely Gukhya, Jajari, Leek, and Luni flow along the region even today. Now there is a river called Ghaggar, which is the connection between Indus and Saraswati. Therefore, all the Indus Valley sites are now renamed as Saraswati Indus or Indus Saraswati Valley Civilization. Because Saraswati is much earlier version and Indus is later, but the same spots, same excavation sites, what I mentioned already in various locations. And this question, the next question that will arise is what happened to Saraswati? Well, there is a spot called Vinashanam in Haryana where it became lost completely around 4000 BC, before the Mahabharata war itself, because the people who died in Mahabharata war, their Antyakriyas were performed with Saraswati water brought out from underground, because overground it dried up. If you go to Pehewa in Haryana, it's called Saraswati Tirtham, you can see a river minus water. It's a big, and there is no, the water is underground, so they pull out the water and perform oblations. Even today, the people who belong to that area, they cannot go to Ganga and all that. They will come here, pull out the water of Saraswati and perform oblations to the ancestors. I also perform oblations to my ancestors in a place called Pehewa Prasutika Tirtham, where they brought out the water from underground, created a pool where you can take bath and perform rituals and whatnot. That is how the Pandavas performed the ritual for the dead warriors of Kurukshetra war. Now, due to tectonic changes, Saraswati disappeared. And of course, Puranically, there is a curse that Saraswati should disappear in Kali Yuga. It will not be visible. And Kurukshetra, Pehova, Sirsa, Nohar, Revatsara, Hanumangadi, Kalibangan, Suratgarh, Bikaner, Pokhran, Jodhpur, Anupaghadi, Panchabhadra, Jalore, Ran of Kutch, and Prabhasapattam near Somnath. So all these are the spots where Saraswati has flown, and some of them are Indus Valley sites. Like I told you, the Dholavira in Ran of Kutch. She was a mighty river capable of breaking through the ranges of the mountain. She had several tributaries entering into her, as well as a number of streams arising out of her. Besides being the mightiest river of the age, she was regarded as most sacred, Pavaka, like Ganga is sacred. As subsequently, later, when Saraswati is no more, Ganga has become holy river. The Pavaka, the holiness, the purificatory capability. This is evident from her characteristics as Pavaka, purifying by seer Madhus Chandas, and Nadi Tama, the best of rivers, by Krutsamada in the Rigveda. Indeed, it appears that the Ganga happened to be elevated to the position of the most purifying and best rivers in succession of Saraswati. The supremely purifying character of the unpolluted water of the Ganga is an attested fact bacteria will not grow in Ganga. As such, the sanctity associated with her is by no means a matter of sheer sentiment or belief. The question arises whether or not the same was true of Saraswati water, and it is confirmed to be true before the Ganga water got filled up. And that the fact that Saraswati was a vibrant river serving as the cradle of Vedic civilization in forms of yajna and yoga, both, that is, all the ashramas of rishis were on the banks of Saraswati river. You can find them in Haryana. There are 350 locations around Kurukshetra. You can go and see. Kurukshetra Development Board has produced a big book giving all this. So Vasishthasrama, Vishwamitra are all now temples. So the Vedic mantras originated on the banks of Saraswati, and once Saraswati dried up, they all migrated away to south. They are the Saraswat Brahmins, the Kamats and Prabhus of Karnataka, Mangalore, Bombay, the Kamath Hotel fellows. All these people are Saraswat Brahmins who migrated from Saraswati river banks, and some of them went as back as to Kashmir also, and some of them came to South India, Goa is full of them, Bombay is full of GSB, they call it, Gaud Saraswat Brahmins. So now the integration of Saraswati with the Indus Valley civilization takes us back vertically upwards to the Vedic period, to the Rig Veda itself, and Rig Veda is the oldest of all books in the world. And this is the most important conclusion. The evidence we have that the Indus script and Indus Valley civilization was post-Vedic and post-Rigvedic. So extracts being there from Rig Veda itself, which integrates the Indian Hindu civilization with the Vedic, Rigvedic civilization and the Saraswati Valley civilization. And this is a period going back up to 40,000 years or even beyond, because we have an old Stone Age spot at Meerut, which is 1 lakh years old. And Meerut is not far from Kurukshetra area. So from 1 lakh years, we have a continuity of growth and development of knowledge as Saraswati, and based on the banks of Saraswati river, the rishis, ashramas, the Vedic mantras all came, and that knowledge has spread throughout the globe. You can find the roots of philosophy, thoughts of sociology, or any subject you take in the Rig Veda. Rig Veda is accepted universally as the oldest text of human society. And therefore, friends, we have Sindhu Saraswati Sabhyata civilization as the parent civilization of all global civilizations. There is no other way. For example, the Gayatri mantra, which is there in both in Rig Veda and Yajurveda, has been imported into the Zen West of the Parsis religion, Zoroastrianism, as it is. I have seen with my own eyes the Gayatri mantra in their text, in their language, Zen West. The word Zen means Chand. Chand is Veda. And the monotheism which they promoted as Ahura Mazda is originating from the Vedic monotheism of Gayatri mantra and Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Vadanti. Even though multiple devatas exist, the ultimate truth, Parabrahman, is only one. That is Om, and that is the driving force given in the Gayatri mantra. So the Persian Empire included Israel, and they gave an order to Jews that you should adopt this Vedic monotheism concept of single God as against multiple devatas also being existing. So they elevated one of their multiple gods. They were all polytheists once upon a time, the Jews, into one single supreme God, that is Yahweh. The word Yahweh means I exist. And that Yahweh got imported into Christianity hundreds and thousands of years later as Yehovah. And that got imported into Islam as Allah hundreds of years later. So from the Rig Veda to the Zen West of Zoroastrianism, from Zen West, there are some distortions, significant distortions, which went into Judaism, and from Judaism imported into Christianity, with the most significant intervention of an introduction of a character called Jesus, which is known to be now a mythical, fictitious character. And in fact, the BBC panel discussion says that all, according to historians, all biblical characters are fictitious. And that entire Bible is imported into Quran, 90%. and added with the character of Muhammad, which is also now being debated. But the monotheism as such, a single God as the main principle, came from the Zoroastrianism too into the Abrahamic religions. And that Zoroastrianism got it from Rig Veda, which is well known. These are all well known facts. I am not telling anything of my own in this. Whatever I told today is well known. And therefore, Rig Veda and therefore our Sanatan Dharma is the parent of not only language, script, and religion and philosophy, but the entire sociology, social order, culture, and civilization. Thank you. I finished. I finished. Hello. Colonel Babu.
Hari Om.
Yes, I finished.
Yeah,
Now I
yeah,
welcome.
Dhanyavadaha.
Yes. Any
Yeah,
questions?
Namaste, Mahoday.
Namaste.
One mention, you're not mentioning about Pali. Pali, can you explain about Pali position, please?
No, Pali is a Prakrit. See, Pali, it is a, there is no separate independent language. It is all Prakrits. They're all Prakrits. Many Prakrits are there. Shauraseni, Avadhi,
Buddhist
all
language
later.
and all things are, Buddhist scriptures are in Pali language. They
Yeah,
say.
it is a Prakrit. It is like Tamil.
So that is before Devanagari or after Devanagari?
Before. The
Before
oldest
Devanagari.
are Prakrits and Vedic, Rigvedic. There's nothing else. The Indus script is oldest.
So the Indus
Devanagari is
script and
very
Pali,
recent.
Indus script
Devanagari is very recent.
that is after Brahmi.
Yeah, not only after. Brahmi is 5th century BC. Devanagari came only around, nobody knows exactly, but around 10th or 11th century AD.
Even Kalidasa is also written in Brahmi only.
Brahmi was prevalent. You see, like if you go to Ujjain, you can see a table which Krishna used. What script did he use? He used only Brahmi and Indus script. Before Brahmi, it is Indus script. Both are very similar.
So the
Indus
Kalidasa,
script is parent of Brahmi.
Kalidasa, Bhoja, all these people are written Brahmi only.
No.
Vikramaditya.
Depending on the time period. See, Ashokan edicts are there in Brahmi only. So after Ashoka, till Devanagari came, they used Brahmi. And again, the word Brahmi also means Saraswati.
So as on date, original manuscripts of Kalidasa were not available, right?
No. What was happening, they were repeatedly rewriting in the manuscripts, in the Talapatras and Bhojapatras. So they didn't have any printing. China, they had some printing at a point of time, but in India, it is handwritten every time. There are hundreds and thousands of manuscripts, libraries. You might have heard Prachalikata Bhandagaram. They are there in Usmania also, Mysore also, everywhere they are there. They are the original source, out of which a few have been edited and published in the printed form. Like, for example, in Saraswati Mahal Library in Tanjore, there are 20,000 manuscripts, out of which only around 200 were published.
It leads to so many doubts. Ganga is there in Mahabharata. Mahabharata was written 3000 years BC. And all these things were written.
Rigveda is much ancient. We are talking, even Rigveda contains Ganga at one point of time. Rigveda has many different time periods.
That means Mahabharata was also written in Brahmi only.
No, see, it was
not even Brahmi.
First point is First point is mostly it is all oral tradition, and whenever it is written, it has to be written in whichever script prevailed at that point of time. Brahmi until Devanagari came.
If it is oral tradition, how can we say that Vyasa is dictated to Ganesha?
I know. Must be Brahmi. Must be Indus script, not Brahmi. It is because Brahmi came only 5th century.
Indus script. Mahabharata was also written in Indus script.
As per our data, we have no other script except Brahmi and Indus script.
And another inference can be, the Ganga river was brought by Bhagirath. And Bhagirath is before Rama. and that
no,
means
that's okay. That's okay. See, but Vasishtha is there in the Rigveda. Vasishtha is the Treta Yuga person. So
Yeah.
Ganga may have been brought, but it is never said that Ganga was not there. But Saraswati was there in a big way till a particular point of time. Saraswati was dominant river
in
in the Rigveda.
Mahabharata, there is reference is there for this that in Shanti Parva about that oblations and all those things. But Ramayana, there is no reference for Saraswati anywhere, I think.
No, the fact that Vasishtha is referring to Saraswati in Rigveda, you cannot discount that.
But in Ramayana Grantha, by written by Valmiki,
I don't know. You ask. You ask.
There is not there. And
You are
Rama's
the.
movement
I think you are the
also,
modern representative of Valmiki, so you can answer.
not that I mean that the Valmiki Ramayana, what is written there. In
Yes,
that,
Saraswati might have.
not
See,
appearing anywhere.
the path they took,
Uh,
that area may not have Saraswati. They have only Ganga.
okay.
That is a northwestern region, no? Saraswati,
So,
Haryana, Punjab,
only
Rajasthan.
if at all, it was touched by Bharata only, who went to Afghanistan area for his
Iran, Kekaya.
Iran.
Kekaya is
Kaikai
Iran,
Samrajyam.
Afghanistan area. Yeah.
Only Bharata must have crossed the several
Yeah,
at that
yeah.
time. Yeah.
But in the mainland, Ganga was the dominant. This is the eastern side.
Rama never went that side, it looks, anywhere.
Yeah, correct. You're right.
Yeah.
Next,
Yeah,
any
so-
other question? Have
Any
anybody
other
else?
questions, please? Any other questions?
So the same
Many people
doubt
are
I
there.
had, because Bhagiratha is the ancestor of Sri Rama, isn't it? Then
Yes.
when he brought Devaganga, that means it was in Treta Yuga, and before that also Ganga was there, isn't it?
Yeah. Really, Ramayana is supposed to have occurred at the end of Treta Yuga. And Mahabharata occurred at the end of Dwapara Yuga. So Treta Yuga, definitely Saraswati existed in its own way, and it must be in different sizes at different times. So Vasishtha referred to it flowing up to the ocean. So ocean is obviously the Western Ocean, not the Eastern Ocean. Not Bengal, but Gujarat. So Rama was not coming into the Western India, Northwestern India at all. So Ramayana may not have referred. But Rigveda is definitely, see, Rigveda also has mantras from different time periods.
Okay.
So there is a Nadi Suktam where Ganga, Yamuna, all
Yes.
these are mentioned. So now, if you go to Yamuna Nagar district, you will find that Yamuna is flowing, and all that water is nothing but Saraswati water now. So the water of Saraswati went into Ganga and Yamuna, and that's how Ganga became pure and all that kind of thing. So it is all tectonic changes under the ground, and earthquakes and all kinds of things happen.
Then why all these are not mentioned in mythology books and other?
No, Saraswati is mentioned every
Gathas?
time, no? Where we say Antarlina, Saraswati.
No, that is there, but Saraswati was the only greatest river even before Ganga arrived. I don't know. Till now, I'm not
No,
read
but
in
that
any
is what
book.
Rigveda mentions. You cannot discount Rigveda.
Yeah, of course.
Puranas can be questioned.
Yes.
Puranas are later, and a lot of Prakshiptas are also there in Puranas. That means unnecessary interventions by others. There is a Bhavishya Purana which mentions about Muhammad and which mentions about Akbar and Babur and everything. So these fellows have written everything, whatever they like. But Rigveda is not like that. Rigveda is protected very strongly. Of course, whatever is gone is gone. Whatever is with us is not corrupted.
Yes.
So Rigveda is the ultimate authority and is the oldest of the human civilization. So I proved that from days of Rigveda as the oldest human text. The oldest human civilization is Hindu civilization, the Vedic civilization, which is indicated by Saraswati Valley, Saraswati River, Sindhu, Indus Valley. All that is what I proved today in my presentation.
Thank you,
that
sir.
is one difference, sir. One inference is that the pronunciation of these Vedas is right from all these languages. It's going on the same way. The pronunciation part of it. See, the script is different, but
the language.
Pronunciation must be same. Whatever may be the language.
Script is changing. You see, for example, Tamil language was having Tamil script which does not contain Mahapranas. and Ha. So they use Grantha script to add on those Sanskrit features. So like you can write in any script. The language is Sanskrit. But again, Vedic Sanskrit is different from normal Valmiki Sanskrit. Valmiki is Adikavi only for Laukika Sanskrit,
Amma.
not for Vedic Sanskrit.
Oh.
Obviously, because Vedas existed way before Valmiki was born.
Okay.
The language which Valmiki used in Ramayana is like Hindi of that time. And the Vedic Sanskrit is original Sanskrit. What Lavakusha sang the songs of Ramayana on the Chaurastas of Ayodhya and common people heard. So it's a
Panini also
common people language in which Valmiki wrote. And that is already many thousands of years have passed before that the Veda was there. So this is only Treta. Krita Yuga also Veda was there. Treta Yuga ending
reference
that
of
too.
Panini. The
Panini
reference
is
of Panini.
recent, relatively recent. 7th century BC, they say, in Takshashila University in Pakistan.
7th century BC means before Brahmi. Brahmi is 500 BC.
Yeah, I mean, Brahmi and Indus. See, Indus was definitely there. He might have used Indus script. And Brahmi came out of Indus as a descendant. The changes are very minimal. Small changes are there.
No,
So
you mean Panini written in Indus?
he must have. Because later on people wrote in Brahmi. Later on they wrote in Devanagari.
No, how
In
it can be? It's a
manuscripts.
Vyakarana, no? It's Vyakarana for Devanagari, right?
No.
Is Vyakarana for
Whatever. No.
Devanagari?
Devanagari is today. Devanagari is very recent. It is Kali Yuga, and that too around 1000 or 12. Some people say it is 1200 AD. I don't believe that, but it's very
Panini
recent.
also could be written before in the Indus only. That means.
Yeah, Brahmi was there till 5th century BC. Before Brahmi, Indus script was used. Okay, I think we should close now.
Okay. Yeah.
Ratnam,
So,
who wants to ask a question?
Yes.
Namaskaram, Mahodaya. Acharya. My question is, when everybody have read the Rig Veda, and so many people have read Rig Veda, and they have understood this, now the claims of the Waqf board, whatever is coming, and these can be very easily answered by the lawyers and judges. Why nobody is responding?
What claims? What claims?
Waqf board claims, they are all talking nonsense, and nobody is giving a proper reply.
No, I don't know who is. I don't know that person. I don't know what he's talking. People talk nonsense. They have been talking nonsense. See, the Indus. That's why I'm saying the Indus Valley civilization integrated into the Vedic text is a very big step forward.
Prabhuji,
what
he's saying is about Waqf board,
judges
this
should
Muslim
take
Waqf board.
the Rig Veda and all this into consideration when they are talking, giving answers to the claims.
No. People who don't know, they can talk any nonsense. But now the Indus Valley civilization excavations, everybody accepts. But they were thinking it is post-Vedic. It has nothing to do with Vedas. They are Dravidians and all kinds of nonsense. So all that it puts to an end. I think I have to go now. Let us close the session.
Thank you very much, sir. It was an excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Now, let us close the session with Prarthana and Janaganamana.
Swasti prajabhyah paripalayantam न्यायेन मार्गेण महीमहेशाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथ्वी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितो ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः अपुत्राः पुत्रिणः सन्तु पौत्रिणः अधना सदना सन्तु जीवन्तु शरदां शतम् सत्यं वद धर्मं चर स्वाध्यायां मा प्रमदः सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सर्वे जनाः सुखिनो भवन्तु स्वस्ति नमस्कारः
ధన్యవాదములండి.
Welcome, sir.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్.
Welcome, sir.
నౌ ప్రకాష్ గారు జనగణమన.
Yes, sir. जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल वंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे जय हिंद. ధన్యవాదాలు సార్. జై శ్రీరామ్. ధన్యవాదాలు సార్. ధన్యవాదాలు గురువు గారు.
ధన్యవాదములండి ప్రకాష్ గారు. Now let us stop the recording and also